Welcome to Elemental Fun, a historical and cultural look of the elements of the periodic table.
Hello and welcome to Elemental Fun. My name is Grace.
My name is Cindy.
Question mark?
No, not sure. What are we going to talk about today?
Fluorine.
Fluorine.
Not fluoride.
No, well, that's a derivative of fluorine.
Yes,
It's a
because the actual element
It's fluorine.
fluorine. Not spelled like I wrote it in my notes.
That darn you. It's not flowering.
It's not. That's not how you'd say flowery. Tricky.
Mm-hmm. It is.
My first note says kills everyone.
It's the most reactive of any of the elements.
Yes.
It is, and do you know what the main reason why? I mean, we should talk about who found it and stuff. But
No, I just want to know right now. Why is it reactive?
because it is super highly electronegative.
Oh, okay. Because all the positive elements want to be with negative, right? No? Maybe?
Well, so
I don't know.
electronegativity.
I know stuff.
Electronegativity. We talked about it with oxygen.
Right.
The fact that oxygen has.
We both just looked at our mics to
Make sure they're on.
That's okay.
So the electronegativity on the periodic table increases as you go to the right and as you go up. So fluorine is right at the top of that, besides the noble gases and hydrogen.
Yeah, noble gases, they don't get along.
Yeah, they don't. They're just
snobs.
Yeah, they're not reactive at
We
all.
talked about it. Look at our episode on noble gases.
Hey.
Available now.
So it has basically the electrons are very attracted to fluorine more than any other element. So it will react with others because of that.
Does react mean bond?
Yes.
Okay.
So that basically,
So everyone wants to hug fluorine.
right.
Because it's
so you
negative
can-
like Eeyore.
Yeah. So these ones were they're so negative. Just like, come on, fluorine, be happy.
Everyone wants to give them a hug.
So the electrons that are in the other elements are if they get close to fluorine, would be attracted to just jumping ship and going over to fluorine.
Oh, just like leaving. There.
Right. So because in ionic bonds, where it's a metal and a non-metal, you get one going over to fluorine, which causes
Sophomore year's coming back to me slowly.
So the electron. So fluorine has 7 valence electrons, so there's one opening.
They want it.
It wants to fill that one.
Everyone wants to be that.
And everybody wants to fill it. So it will react with those and take the electron, which turns it into fluoride, which is the ion of it, which means it has a -1 charge because it has an extra electron that it normally doesn't have.
Science.
So yeah, so electronegativity is one of the big things of why elements react the way they do with other elements.
So it was discovered in 1886 by Henri Moissan.
Moissan.
He won the Nobel Peace Prize in 1906.
It's not the Peace Prize. He
Nobel.
won the Nobel Prize, not the Nobel Peace Prize.
You're totally right. I just added peace in there.
Because this is definitely not peaceful element.
No. Sorry. I just read my note.
Yep.
And I just added peace because I want.
Because we only really hear about the Nobel Peace Prize.
Right. It's a Nobel Prize.
It's a Nobel Prize
in chemistry.
Right.
Sorry.
Oh,
Hi,
yeah,
Charlie.
that's right, Charlie.
Oh.
Remember, we still have Charlie with us.
Yes. Mommy's sorry she messed up.
He's like, Mommy, that was not right.
Gosh, you're
Jeez.
embarrassing me. My 1-month-old man, he is smart.
And my dog just came over like, what was that noise?
He's like,
What's going on?
what?
He's never been around a baby before, actually.
Yeah.
This is the first time.
But he discovered it through electrolysis, and I found out he died of it.
I believe
fluorine.
he did. Yeah.
How sad! You're like, I discovered it, and now I'm dead.
And so they had, see, where did he have it down here? Yeah, he obtained it by electrolysis, and he was poisoned many times by it. I don't have that he died from it, but he was poisoned many times in the process of figuring it out.
Here's the thing about fluorine, though, that I found out, and it's it's acidic form, which is what fluoric acid,
hydrofluoric acid,
it doesn't kill you right away. So he could have been poisoned. And what happens is it actually gets into your bloodstream. It's actually small enough to get in through the pores of your skin into your bloodstream. And then it slowly just starts to like break apart. So there was this 37.
It's pulling out those the other one's electrons. It's like, come over to me.
Yes, and it slowly kills you from the inside out. Because there was this scientist, a 37-year-old scientist who got maybe like a quarter size amount of that acid on his skin.
Oh yeah, it will.
And he went through all the precautions.
Yep.
He, immediately washed it, did all the stuff in the science lab and all the things, had the paramedics come, and he a week later had to have his leg amputated where it hit him, and then a week after that he died. Like, so I think this guy probably just kicked the bucket from it.
Yeah, I mean
that's
multiple times. Yeah, no, I mean, and the whole history is peppered with that. So early chemists knew that the metal fluorides had something like chlorine in it, but they couldn't isolate it. Then French André Ampère coined the name fluorine in 1812. Humphrey Davies, which he's been one we've talked about before too, very big in chemistry, was unable to produce it and became ill trying to from hydrofluoric acid.
Yes.
Again, British George Gore, 1869. Did electrolysis with hydrofluoric acid and saw that there was an explosive gas, but he couldn't collect it and prove it. So he's like, it's there, but I don't.
You see that thing exploding in the air?
Right there.
That.
And so then that's what when Moissan in 1886, he was able to isolate it from electrolysis of potassium potassium bifluoride. But he was poisoned many times in the process. So
I'm sorry. I just laughed.
Dangerous chemical.
Poison.
Oh, but do you know Moissan was also the first one to artificially produce diamonds? I did not know that.
Whoa.
Side note,
that was a long time ago.
It was.
Huh.
Yeah, he used pressurized
I don't know if we
charcoal.
talked about that during our.
I don't think we did. Yeah, but that's what I said when I was reading about this gun.
So the name comes from the Latin fluor, meaning to flow.
Do you know why?
Because it sounds like fluor.
No. Interestingly enough, it's actually, I thought this was really cool when I learned about it. So to flow, the reason why it's called that, let me find it in my notes. It's used, so it doesn't occur free in nature. Fluorospar was calcium fluoride, that we know now of what that's called, was used to separate pure metals from minerals that weren't wanted when they were mining it. So in the ores, that fluorospar, the calcium fluoride, helped the metals to flow out from the ore. And that's why it's called fluorine.
Fluorine.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool.
It was a French scientist who named it as well. André Ampère.
Yeah, I do have this. In a quest to find fluorine, chemists often produce hydrofluoric acid. Several injured, blinded, or killed.
Yes.
Because the splashes, like you said, can kill.
Yes, just a splash. All you need is a little dollop.
Just a little dollop of fluorine.
To die.
Just not a dollop of daisy.
Yes.
Yeah. So fluorine itself is gaseous. It is a non-metal. It's yellow-green, dangerously reactive. It attacks all metals.
That's what I have. Attacks all metals.
Steel wool.
I love it. I want to do this.
You just put steel wool, and it just bursts into flames when it gets in contact with fluorine.
Do you think we can? I was like, I want to do this experiment and put it on YouTube. And I'm like, how am I going to get fluorine?
Yeah, I don't want to handle fluorine.
I don't want to either. But like, I want to be covered in a tire suit and have it sitting there and just like lob some steel wool into it. And just watch it like a basketball. Think about it like. So cool. And during the next NCAA tournament, like we're sitting there and we're like, we got the steel wool. We're going for and when she shoots, and then it's like. And it bursts into flame.
You'd have to have you'd have to do it in a fume hood. You'd have to have like.
Well, it'd be in a science lab. I wouldn't just do it in your kitchen.
Well, where's your science lab?
The college you work at.
I actually wonder if
I bet
if they there's certain things that I doubt we have fluorine there. Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things where I'm like, that would be so much fun. I have no way of getting that.
I mean, we worked with magnesium, and so we have magnesium strips, and you put it in the Bunsen flame, and then you can see the different colors that it does. But
that's not quite the level.
That's not quite the explosion.
Dang it.
We do chemistry stuff, but not crazy chemistry stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see.
If we become popular enough, we might do some
Some
chemistry experiments on put them on
true.
YouTube, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Why don't you let us
like and
know?
share.
Would you like to see it?
Let's come on. We'll just do dangerous stuff.
I will do
Jackass
dangerous.
for elements.
Wait, isn't that show on the science? What's that show called? Where they prove things.
No, I can't think of it. With Jamie Heidemann.
Yeah.
And the other guy, MythBusters. There you
Yeah.
go. Mhm.
That's kind
kind of.
of like Jackass for scientists.
Kind of, but they do things much more safely.
They do.
Yeah.
We would not. At least I wouldn't. I'd be like, this is safe. And Cindy would be in the
Let's do this.
corner going,
No!
she'd just go, no,
No, it's not.
whatever, Grace. I'm going to call the ambulance now.
Right. Check in. So we got another one. So fluorine was not commercially produced until World War II.
Yep.
Because they needed large quantities to do nuclear energy production.
Of the atomic
bomb. So uranium hexafluoride was used to separate the uranium isotopes, and also sulfur hexafluoride was used as an insulating gas for high power electric transformers.
Yeah, but before nuclear energy
Welding.
projects, they did use fluorine salts for etching glass and welding and frosting glass.
They did. You know what they called it? There was one. It was called, I think, Bohemian. Yeah, Bohemian Emerald.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very cool. It was used in glass etching. I thought it was kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so they use that in a lot of welding and stuff too, and frosting glass. Fluorochemicals or solvents for and this everybody knows this. High temperature plastics such as Teflon, which has gotten a lot of interesting stuff, right? So this is where you find in your non-stick coatings, pans, cable insulations, Gore-Tex.
Yes.
The waterproof Gore-Tex.
So it's polytetrafluorethane, PTFE, Teflon, Gore-Tex. Basically, the non-stick frying pans that are also slowly killing us all.
Right. So then this is one thing. They're like, this is great, non-stick, awesome. And then it's out for a while, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, it's coming off into your food.
Right. That's the problem with it, is that it's scraping off of the pan, going into your food, and then you're digesting it. And you're not supposed to digest this.
No, it is not good for you.
It's bad. So if you have non-stick pans at home, I would highly recommend you to just consider
Getting something else.
a cast iron skillet.
No, so we just got a cast iron skillet, and I'm like, why did I not have this forever?
They're
amazing. They're so easy to clean.
Yeah.
It's
you don't
non-stick.
even really have to clean them.
You don't have to. Well, you just rinse it out and scrape off the food.
Scrape it and then rinse it
and then put some
dry
oil in it and then heat it, and then it's the most amazing thing. That's the only thing we use now.
That's all I use.
Pretty much.
I love it.
There's only one or two things that I found that don't cook well in it.
there's some
Probably because I haven't quite learned how to cook that well.
Well, I mean,
with
there's some things, and if you don't clean them very well, then you are like, oh, yesterday's food is mixed with today's food.
But yeah, they're amazing. So you can get one of them.
Yes. So that's what I would recommend.
Yeah. They have.
As someone who likes to cook,
I also
I do watch the Food Network a lot, and they recommend them too.
Before I found that one, because I wanted to get some pans, but not Teflon or whatever. And ceramic coating. That one's supposed to be the next the better option, the best one. Yeah, it's pretty good nonstick, but it's ceramic, so it's not leaking into your food. So I did that. The Gore-Tex, I always think about Seinfeld with remember the big Gore-Tex jacket that Jason Alexander, his character had.
I don't know if I saw that one.
And they were making fun of him the whole episode because he was like this big Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. He's
to
like,
be
"What's
fair,
Gore-Tex?"
it's so easy to make fun of Jason Alexander.
He's a great
Best
actor,
thing he ever did that doesn't annoy the crap out of me, because I can't stand him.
Toy Story. You like him in Toy Story. He's in Toy Story.
Who is he in Toy Story?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure Jason Alexander is in Toy Story.
Well,
Anyway.
I can't stand his character in Seinfeld.
Okay,
I kind of want to punch him in the face.
Fair enough.
And every time he sees a beautiful woman and he's like, "Ew, something's wrong with her," I'm like, dude, look in the mirror. Because, like...
Well, that's the point.
But the best thing was when he did the musical Whopper commercial for Burger King in the 80s.
I don't remember.
Oh my gosh, go Google
Good.
it. No, he's great. I'm like, you can sing and you're dancing and like you're not obnoxious.
This is great.
It wasn't a Whopper. It was like the BLT,
Oh, the BLT
that they made.
bacon, lettuce, and tomato. Yeah.
Yeah. So. Anyways,
Yeah. So
wow,
the hydrofluoric
tangent.
acid was in. Oh, and they also did in light bulbs.
Yeah.
Etching glass and light bulbs.
Mhm.
And then of course another. So fluorine's kind of got a bad thing going on here. So we have the Teflon that's slowly killing us. We also have the chlorofluorocarbons.
Yes, I have that
short
too.
name as CFCs.
Or
These are what's
aerosol
used in the
propellants.
aerosols. Yeah, aerosol propellants and refrigerants. And for blowing expanded polystyrene. So I think making like the popcorn, like the styrofoam stuff. Which
Oh,
is
okay.
terrible.
Yeah.
But the CFC. So the issue with it, and I mean, you probably all heard like,
When you
they're all
say
banned.
issue, it makes you sound like you're sneezing. So I want to say bless you.
Issue.
Bless you.
Issue. So the reason why it's bad though is because these CFCs are actually inert, which means they don't react. So once it goes into the atmosphere, so once you spray your aerosol can,
And
it goes into the
air.
atmosphere, it goes up and it doesn't degrade, and so it diffuses into the stratosphere, which is above the troposphere,
Yep.
which is where all life is. So it goes into the stratosphere and then slowly eats away at the ozone layer.
Yeah, my note literally says for aerosol propellants, but they were destroying ozone, so now banned.
In most places. So there's still some that are out there, but you remember the hole over the big hole over, I think it was the Arctic, is where the hole in the ozone layer
I thought it was over
from.
Australia.
Maybe it was down there. I don't know. There's a hole somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly where. I probably should. But that
Dear
hole,
listeners.
that hole was basically when they started feeling that, they're like, what's causing this? And then they realized, oh,
That's
whoops,
right.
CFCs.
Yeah,
And so
'cause-
then they started banning them.
That's right, because I remember there was that whole time where like they mostly said like hairspray.
Yeah.
They're like hairspray is causing a hole in the ozone layer, but it's not
Mhm.
actually hairspray.
It's the thing to aerosolize it, to make it that
It's
mist.
fluorine.
It's chlorofluorocarbons. So chlorine, fluorine, and carbon.
Bad. Fluorine bad.
Yeah. So what's interesting though, I found out they've
Carbon good.
as long as I've been alive, CFCs have basically been bad. Since I've learned about them when I was younger, right?
Yeah.
So they've been banned. But before 2009, most inhalers for asthma had it in there, and it's only been phased out since 2013.
You
So
mean the stuff
recently-
that gets sprayed straight into your lungs?
Yeah.
That's bad.
So I thought, I mean, 2013. That's 6 years ago, and we're still using, even though like for probably 20 or 30
It
years.
started. It's
In before 2009, so they started the phase out started in 2013.
so it might not even be fully phased out.
know.
Oh,
So that's one of the things. It's like we know something's bad, but then you have to phase it out for years and years and
because
years
corporations
of business. I mean, you do have to give. You can't just say all of a sudden you have to completely change everything because we found this out. You do have to
Why
give
not?
some time.
Why not?
Jobs and things like that.
Give them a
Yeah.
job to phase it out.
Well, I think they could do it
Easy
quicker.
peasy lemon squeezy.
They could do it quicker. I do understand the side of you have to give some people time to fix the problem once you.
Yeah, they got to
realize it.
figure
'Cause
out.
They didn't know.
They got to find an
before.
alternative. And they got to
Right.
figure it out. I get it, but at
But
the same
it's-
time,
it's
it's like
the Earth,
It's like
so-
this is killing people.
So remember, if you don't remember why the ozone layer is important, it's the thing that's keeping us safe from the UV radiation that the sun is giving us.
Yes.
So
Basically, sunlight good.
Much.
There's too much and harmful UVs.
rays
Think about skin cancer.
Right.
Think about bad sunburns.
cancer, cancer, basically cancer. Cancer
Cancer is a
causing so
dancer.
the UV light will cause mutations to happen in your genetic code, which can turn into cancer cells.
Right. So basically, yeah, the ozone layer is like a big giant bubble that's protecting us, and we are slowly killing it. Yay.
Good job, us.
We are doing great.
We're so awesome.
You know, whenever you see those movies, those sci-fi movies about aliens that take over our bodies,
Mhm.
and they're like, "You're not valuing your planet that can give
Yeah.
life." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, they got a point."
It's so true. Like you are correct.
Part of me's like, "Well, the aliens got a point, so maybe
Just
we should
saying.
just be wiped out."
Yeah.
Can they decipher who actually cares?
Right. Maybe that will be the test. They'll do some
That
kind
would
of
actually
test,
be
yeah.
a really interesting like
sci-fi movie.
sci-fi movie or book where like
Yeah.
aliens came down
should
and
be your
they
next
started exploring my next one. Because I haven't written a blog in over a year. And I just paid for my subscription for my website. I'm like,
you should start getting on
I'm
that.
paying a lot for this thing that I.
But the point is there so that at any point you can do it.
Yeah, I need to do it.
Yes.
I'm on maternity leave.
Right, you
What
got
else
some
am I doing
time.
besides
Feeding a baby and keeping
Feeding
it
a
alive.
baby and keeping a 4-year-old alive
Yeah.
all day.
Little things. Every day. Every day. So fluorine is found naturally in water, air, plant, and animal-based foods, and small amounts and larger amounts in tea and shellfish.
Shellfish.
Shellfish. You're so shellfish. So it's very important in our health,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It's got a double-edged sword, actually.
Essential ion for
Ion.
animals to strengthen teeth and bones.
But
Too much
can cause bone osteoporosis,
mottled teeth in
tooth
children.
decay, right? Mottled teeth in children. It can hurt your kidneys, your
Too
nerves,
much
your muscles.
fluoride is toxic. The element fluorine is toxic.
Yeah.
Hydrofluoric acid
It's
is
very
toxic. Basically, it's again, we talk about this all the time. A little bit is what we need. Too much will kill you, or mixed with the wrong things will kill you. So, how are you doing on
I'm
notes?
good. I'm just
Because I've got
right. Because so
you
we
talk
have
a
the
little more
water.
about biology, and then I'm going to talk about brainwashing.
Oh, I haven't heard about that. So most places now have fluorine in the tap water, right?
Yes.
And the reason why we have that is because it helps to prevent cavities. So
Yes, we need less than 2 parts per million.
Exactly. But they can make kids enamel to become mottled, which is what you were just referencing.
Right.
So we have it in toothpaste too. In the human body, 3 milligrams of fluoride is too much and is toxic.
Yes.
And the elemental, again, the fluorine itself is toxic. So we're putting so if you look in the toothpaste and stuff, it's fluoride. It's the ion in there.
Yes.
So that's why the ion is a little bit better. We can handle some of that. If you straight fluorine, that's just terrible. And you shouldn't put that in your body.
Because then it's going to take electrons from other things when it's in the body
Right.
and destroy you from the inside out.
Dun, dun, dun.
You will
But
die.
plants absorb it from the soil. And there are certain plants that are more susceptible than others to having too much.
Mhm.
So things like corn and apricots, apparently, are very susceptible to damage and growth reduction if there's too much fluorine
In the soil.
in the soil. Mhm.
Huh. I wonder if farmers have to like check the fluorine levels of their
Possibly.
soil.
Yeah. I mean, there's, yeah.
Wouldn't
I
that
mean-
suck if you bought a farm and you're like, I'm going to have an apricot orchard. And
No,
then
they're not.
They're like, your soil has too much fluorine. You're like, what?
What are you talking about?
How is that even? How
They don't have teeth. Why do they need it in the soil?
Valid point. They don't need
They
it.
don't need it. So it's commonly found as fluorite and as fluorospar, calcium fluoride, and a cryolite. So it's the 13th most common element in the Earth's crust. So it's actually quite common, even being so explosive in nature.
Yes, 13th most abundant element in the Earth's
Mhm.
crust. In its gas state, it's in its gas state at 20 degrees Celsius, is what I got.
Yeah. So
Oh.
in room temperature,
Yeah.
it's gas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wonder what it needs to go to be in its solid or liquid form.
Yeah. You'd have to cool it down quite a bit.
Yeah.
To go down to there. I don't know what that number is actually.
Super chilly.
Super
I bet
chilly,
It's
yeah.
in my book or my app, but
It
doesn't
it's
really matter because we're not that kind of podcast.
no, but it does. If you put fluorine with water, it reacts really violently and produces oxygen and hydrofluoric acid.
Again, hydrofluoric acid.
It's
bad.
bad. And where does it come from? It's created in the stars. So it's created in sun-like stars.
Wait, are there
sun-like stars.
non-sun-like stars?
I think. Well, this one is specifically. It's towards the end of their lifetimes when they become a red giant.
Okay.
So the increase in pressure and temperature as it expands to become a red giant, and the outer layers are flushed away to create a planetary nebula.
I love that movie.
and the
Flushed away.
Pushed away. And the fluorine travels with others into the interstellar medium and then forms new stars and planets. It's kind of cool.
So that slowly reminds me of the book I'm trying to read right now, which is A Brief History of Nearly Everything by Bill Bryson.
Oh wow,
I'm like,
a lot.
well, I can just read like a little bit at a time,
Yeah.
but it's talking about like the beginning of everything.
Yeah, it's mind blowing. It's just it's hard to get your brain around.
I'm just like, I
Where did your burger?
can't read this right now. I'm going back to Harry Potter.
Yeah, this is too intense.
I was like, I really like Bill Bryson,
but
this is too
it's just,
much.
well, I mean, it's a brief history of everything. Like that's going to be pretty intense.
Well, he wrote it because he was flying. He was flying in an airplane, and he went, I don't know why the ocean's water is salty and Lake Michigan's water is
It's
not
fresh?
salty. He's
Huh.
like, I don't know things. And
I
so he
have to
spent
learn
3
more
years
things.
just like
Researching everything.
researching like basic science.
Nice. That's cool.
Well, not basic science
Right, yeah.
concepts, but like Big Bang.
Right.
What's that? I'm gonna
Interesting.
research it.
Yeah.
So,
That's
it's
cool.
interesting, but
It's a lot.
I have a new mom brain. So
yeah,
like,
it's hard to reference on that.
blurb.
Which makes it go right into brainwashing.
Yes, brainwashing. Okay, so it's referenced in Doctor Strangelove,
Oh.
Stanley Kubrick's
Right.
blackest of black comedies. I'm reading again from the book Periodic Tales. Actually, I'm not reading. I'm just looking at notes. So he basically the paranoid American general Jack D. Ripper.
Ooh.
He basically was talking about how he was talking about post-war commie conspiracies, and he talks about fluoride in the water. So basically, fluorination began in the U.S. in the water
Okay.
after the Second World War ending. In December of 1945, they decided to have Grand Rapids, Michigan, become the first city to be supplied fluorinated water. They wanted to see if this would help with dental hygiene.
Is it just sad that I'm like, oh man, so many water problems in Michigan?
Well, there wasn't a problem with this.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, why? We're talking about water in Michigan again.
Yeah, that's
oh
true.
man.
Sad tweet. So a nearby city was designated to be the control in what was supposed to be
Okay.
a 10-year study to
Oh,
see
wow.
like
okay. Oh, if you add fluorine to one and not the other, what are the decay rates of teeth?
right. So
Okay.
they're like, okay,
Got it.
this is our plan.
Brilliant.
But fluorination was preemptively declared a success and rapidly extended to other metropolitan
too much
waters,
everywhere.
including the controlled city, which made the study useless. So
Oh, 'cause they
basically,
did it too quickly. They didn't do the whole 10 years to see.
no, they were just like, this is working. Everyone gets it. Now, not about half of the American people get a fluorinated water.
Okay.
And it's still an enormous controversy.
Yeah.
People don't feel like that the government should have
needed.
control
Right.
over how, like, what's put in your water.
Right.
But then, there's other cities like in Portland. Portland doesn't have, I listened to a podcast called Another Mother Runner.
Oh, okay.
And the gal on it, she's like, I wish they put fluoride in the water. And she's like, but they don't. But the schools hand out little pills, little fluoride pills, that you can
Put in your drinks or whatever.
yeah, and it's supposed to help. But I guess one year the nurse didn't hand them out to the end of the year. It's supposed to be handing them out all year
Right,
long.
yeah, 'cause,
Forgot or whatever and handed them out. And she said her kids like had a whole bunch of cavities that summer, like
Oh, 'cause
from
they
not
didn't
having
have
it
it.
all year. And so I mean, some people think, well, if I want to have fluoride, I'll pick toothpaste with fluoride and I'll take care of it.
Right.
People think it's so. They started putting it in the water right around the whole wonderful McCarthy era. So a whole lot of conspiracies going on.
Right.
So there was the whole anti fluorinationists. They thought that the government was brainwashing it. They thought it was a communist conspiracy.
okay.
There's also conspiracies out there that fluorination was a scheme dreamt up by the aluminum industry to dispose of large quantities of fluorine compounds that are used in the metals manufacture.
Okay.
They also thought the sugar industry was behind it so that they wouldn't get blamed for cavities.
Wow.
I mean,
Woo. I mean,
So-
not to put it past them.
so there's people that are like way into the conspiracies, but there's also people that just feel like my rights, my body.
Right.
And if that's you, that's great. I honestly think I have nothing. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's keeping my teeth healthy, I've never had a cavity,
You're so lucky.
and
hate
I've been on fluorinated water my whole life.
So this is the thing. I believe I have too, and I have tons of cavities.
Oh,
So, but so part of the problem with this is
Genetics.
that there is, yeah, and you know what? Some of the doctors, dentists, somebody will say it's your teeth. You don't get that genetics, but you get your genetics of like how much enamel you have on your teeth and
Yeah.
how good that enamel is and all that. And my whole family, my mom and my dad, all both have terrible teeth.
yeah,
But my husband, he's had one cavity.
yeah.
And my sister one cavity. So I'm sure my mouth would be much worse had it had I not been on fluoride.
Right.
Because everybody's levels are different as to what is worse for you, what is bad, you know. So
yeah, I really do think there is some parts of it that's genetics because
oh yeah,
like my husband takes such good care. I mean, that man takes better care of his teeth than like anyone I have ever met.
and he has cavities.
And he has had
Yep.
cavities.
No, my husband brushes his teeth for like 20 seconds.
I did
you
not
know?
I did not floss my teeth regularly till I was like 27.
Yeah.
And my husband's like, I hate you.
I know. I'm the same way. I'm like, I don't think, you know, I know people that don't floss their teeth at all, and I didn't either till later in life, but even like I took care.
I didn't go to the dentist for like 3 years.
I took better care of my teeth than some other people, and have a ton more cavities than they
my
do.
husband, he flosses. He
Yeah.
does mouthwash. He, brushes rigorously. He takes.
too hard because you can brush.
He
too
might
hard.
have been, and that might have been why he had to
Yeah.
get a skin grafted for his gums.
Whoa!
But I had to get a skin graft for my gums.
Did you?
Yes,
did not.
I had.
That's one thing I haven't had to have done to my mouth.
Yeah, I did. I had to have the roof of my mouth had to replace some of my gums because they were just thinning out a little bit
Interesting.
in one spot. But it's such a good job. My now dentist was like, I didn't even notice it. And I was like,
Interesting.
well,
It's good.
because my teeth are so pearly white. I was
Beautiful.
blinding you. Yeah.
No, but I
so-
think it's definitely there's a certain level of genetics, but I think fluoride has been a good thing. I think honestly, I get people wanting to like set their own bodies, and they don't want to have people tell them what to do. But we know so much, and I think if there was really an issue or it didn't work at this point, there would be a much larger scientific audience that would be saying that it doesn't. That is no
right.
point, right?
If scientists are backing it,
Right.
I mean, there's always going to be the one odd scientist, but that has personal beliefs in it,
Right.
and will find some reason. Because yes, if you put too much in,
It could be bad.
it could be
Right.
bad. And actually, in the town we live in, the water's fluorinated.
Mhm.
But when I guess a dentist told me this, a dentist that lives in Friday Harbor, he said, because he was looking at my teeth and he was like, oh, did you grow up on fluorinated water? And I said, yeah. And he goes, in Anacortes, they didn't have fluorinated water, and then they decided to start putting it in.
Yeah.
And the day they were supposed to start putting it in, people started calling up and saying, "Oh, I'm sick," and "Oh, the water tastes different."
Oh, and
But
they hadn't put it
they
in
hadn't
yet?
put it in yet. And so,
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah, people want to find. I mean,
Yeah.
then go live on a farm and have a well and take care of your own water and
Right.
live happily
fine.
ever after. And
But the thing is, at this point,
But
if
then-
it hasn't, if it's obviously not hurting anything. Like we would have heard about that if it with the grand scale that it's on right now.
Right.
So even if you think it doesn't help, like it's not hurting, and maybe it helps a little bit, like why not just it's fine. But that's a controversy.
the FedEx truck is going by,
And my dogs do not like the FedEx truck.
but they bring such great things.
I know, but they think that they are just the wrong thing. And of course now he's backing up and now going down the street again. So we get mail. The
He's
mailman comes by
taunting.
like 4 times. They'll come at each thing. Oh, they're coming to the house. So
Should we pause it
we
for a
think we
second?
should pause it for
Okay,
just a second.
we'll be right back.
Be right back.
You won't.
Okay, we're back. The FedEx man has left, and now my dog is okay.
We might need to put in a space in there so that, because otherwise you can't tell there's a space.
You're like, wait a minute, they didn't leave anywhere.
Maybe we'll put in some music. Oh, I should have just started it and gone like
Intermission. Yeah. So what's interesting too is we talked about cancer drugs with the platinum group. Cancer drugs also 25% of cancer drugs for cancers, for CNS, central nervous system stuff, cardiovascular drugs contain some sort of fluorine.
I was going to say actually 20% of all pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, I was going to say 25% of drugs for like almost a lot of different things. And the cancer, so it's the carbon fluorine instead of carbon hydrogen or carbon oxygen in the drug apparently increases the effectiveness of it.
Yeah.
And it's more active on the cancer cells and is more stable.
My note's really lame. It says used as compounds for various reasons in 20% of all pharmaceuticals. Very, very vague.
It's more effective.
Yes, basically it makes your drugs more effective into your,
Right.
system.
And it can interfere with the take-up of calcium. So it can interfere with the calcium metabolism, which can be...
Wait, that's
unfortunate.
interesting though, because we're putting fluoride to help our teeth, but aren't our teeth?
It's calcium,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I think it's one of those things that balance of just taking too
Right, 'cause
much of
we
it.
really just need a teeny tiny
just
bit.
a tiny little bit.
Teeny tiny bit.
I have one more note on here, which is kind of cool. Hydrofluoric acid will dissolve glass.
Won't it dissolve everything?
Could be, but it was just specifically just put glass in it.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Acids are crazy.
again, steel wool
Explodes on contact.
bursts into flame. Bursts into flame. Can I
By
have
just the slight touch of fluorine. It goes, no!
I just want to see like a swimming pool, not full of hydrochlorofluorine.
That'd be terrible.
But like, I just want to see like a pool full of fire after you throw steel wool.
Just go,
I wonder if the flames are a different color.
well, I don't know because gases will sometimes have a specific color to them. Metals all have kind of a specific color. That's why magnesium has a very bright flame.
Yeah, it's really
and some
bright.
of the ones, yeah. So it might have a different flame to it, different color. I'm not sure. They did not say anything about that in our research. So I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, so to take the takeaway,
Don't touch fluorine.
fluorine, good until it's bad.
Well, again, with everything else, like it's good to a point, and then over.
I feel like this one's like really bad.
It
Though.
is though,
Like,
because it's in such small amounts that we need.
yeah, a little bit can just destroy.
Just that tipping balance a little bit.
I
too
mean,
much.
like I remember when we were talking about other elements where we're like, yeah, too much of that can be bad.
Yeah.
Like if you hold solid lead and lick it, you can get sick.
Like poisoning, but
yeah, but not like
not instant death.
burst into flames,
So
body on fire.
I go back to this. So to me, the perfect analogy is the Simpsons episode where the guy in this sushi shop it's a new guy and he's training to cut up the blowfish. And blowfish are very
yes.
can be very very poisonous. So he has like looking at this little diagram and it's like tasty fish, death. So it's like very delicate balance as to lovely and dead.
Yes, I don't want to eat blowfish.
I don't either. I like to see blowfish. They're very cool.
What?
Sea blowfish.
Oh, to see. I heard to see blowfish. I was like, what's to see blowfish?
Fish. It's a new word. As my husband says, you can't just make up words. I do.
You could totally make up words. I do it all the time.
I know, but if you want people to understand you, it's probably. But he get. I'm like, you know what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
It's like that doesn't matter. Yes, it does.
Well, so we're going to continue with
Yes, the halogens.
with the
that's what they are.
halogens. And do maybe some bromine or
Yo, bro.
yeah, bro. We're gonna do some bromine, some iodine.
That's all I heard. Do you want to do some blow, man?
Not appropriate and not
No.
what I said. Yeah, bromine, potassium.
Yeah, it's fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, and astenine.
Yeah, we've already done chlorine.
Oh yeah, so these are the ones that are cool that the halogens are those diatomic molecules. So when you find these in nature, it's like O2, right? We always send oxygen as O2. It's F2, Cl2,
That's what I
Br2,
thought, yeah.
AT2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they're always found as diatomic molecules.
Diatomic.
Very similar stuff.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna go continue with some halogens.
Mhm.
We might throw in a science story in the mix somewhere
we
in
haven't
there.
done that in a little while.
Yeah. So, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to email us at elementalfunpodcast@gmail.com. You can find me at Instagram. I am Instagram.
I am the all being.
On Instagram at runmamarun 50x50. That's 50x50.
And you can find me, Cindy, at Pacific Mammal Research on Instagram and Facebook.
And your
And my website, www.pacmam.org. PACMAM.
So pack it, ma'am. Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Like mammal.
Yes, Pacific
Yes.
Mammal.
Yes, she does science. I'm just doing whatever.
running and fun stuff.
Yeah. Anything fun you want to tell us you're doing right now?
Oh, we just got our boat back.
You got a boat.
I got a boat. Big blue watery roll. Sorry, that's a Lonely Island reference.
I got it.
Yeah, so we got our boat out. So hopefully we'll be going out. It's a small little Boston whaler, but hopefully we'll be able to go out and look for more porpoises and stuff.
Fall
and take
over.
pictures.
So it has a porpoise.
It does have a porpoise. It's for a porpoise. To research porpoises. That's a good one. Woo. Yeah.
Never heard that one. Didn't you just recently help with a
yes,
elephant
the
seal?
elephant seal. Yes, so we had an elephant seal up here in Anacortes that decided to haul out during her catastrophic molt that they do. So when they molt, they don't just lose their hair; they lose the first layer of their skin.
Oh, jeez.
So they literally look like Death Becomes Her, where he starts cracking up and falling apart, like peeling away.
Oh, gross.
So she was super cute. She's 1 year old, and she popped up but she decided that the gutter in the road was the place to be.
No.
So not exactly the greatest place, and it was right in a really high traffic area where people were there all the time, and RVs and stuff were going in and out. So we watched her for about a week and a half. The Stranding Network had a lot of volunteers that were out coordinating that, and so we were working with them. And then they decided, Noah and Fish and Wildlife decided we should probably try to move her. So I got to help with that. So
That's fun.
Got to capture her, put her in a crate, drive her to a secluded location, and let her go. And she was like, "Okay." We're like, "Please go to a beach that is less crowded."
Yeah.
And please go to a beach.
Yes. Not a gutter.
She actually, when she first hauled out, she decided to try to go up the road. So she was like, a quarter of a mile up the road, and they had to like shove her back, get her back into the thing. So that was actually it was a lot of stuff going on, but it was really
yeah.
cool
I was watching that on Facebook.
Yes.
Because I'm following Pac Bam on Facebook and Instagram.
Yay!
So that's
we
really fun.
get to post things and fun stuff like that we see.
Yeah,
So we had some cool seal video. I hope I'm going to put up soon. We just saw. It was really neat.
Fun.
Like 30 animals all just hanging out.
That's cool.
And foraging.
My stuff's not that exciting.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Well, I'm a new mom.
Yeah.
Again.
New mom number 2.
Number 2. He's super cute. He looks exactly like his big sister.
He does. She posted a picture the other day, and I was like, "That's her." Wait a minute.
I'm glad we're able to do some podcasting while I'm on maternity leave.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And he's been nicely sleeping. He's
he has
good.
slept so well. I knew he would, but it's getting close to feeding time.
Yeah, he's gonna wake up hangry.
He's gonna be so hangry, and I gotta drive home. So
luckily, you don't live that far away.
I know. Like 7 minutes. Oh my gosh.
Long.
No. So
Cool.
I think that's all.
Yeah, we'll see you next time for her.
We will not.
hear you.
Ha. No,
Oh,
we will
I
not
see
hear
it the
them.
next time. They will hear us.
Let me
next
do
time.
the ending.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for listening. This has been Elemental Fun. My name is Grace.
My name is Cindy.
Good job, Cindy.
Thanks.
And stay curious, and you will be hearing from us again soon.
Dun,
Soon.
dun, 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 dun.
What was that?
Fluorine.
What?
It's so cool and deadly.
It's also brainwashing America.
Dun dun dun. Run away.